We'll have to see what that's about. I'll figure that out afterwards. But anyway, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope your Sunday is going well. Certainly, my Sunday has. We will be shortly commencing this week's Ticket to Ride show. But before we do that, I actually have something I actually would like to show you all, before we started. And this actually is now what I'm considering a proposed upgrade to WPLD radio, along with changing of the OS on one of those PCs. This is the home site for something called Azuracast, which is what KNA actually uses for his stuff. So this is what he uses to host his station on this platform. So after looking at that, and I was actually reading a lot of the documentation, I was reading a lot of the documentation for this, and I even checked out the live demo and everything. I mean, I won't go into too much detail on it, but yeah, I ran through the live demo of that and everything, and I saw how interesting this thing was going to be, or is going to be, I should say. Anyway, let's get the first game of Ticket to Ride started. Here. So, I mean, I was thinking a lot about these upgrades, and how these may benefit our network. So, I mean, right now, as far as I know, KNA Radio is actually the only one in the GWES to use this kind of service. And that's the same service that WSPX, owned by Southern PAWX, that's the same service that is used to host his station as well. He uses to host that kind of stuff. So, last night I went through the documentation of that whole thing. I went through the documentation of it all, and I found out that this actually might be a very beneficial update, to our services. And then I was thinking something else too. If I start a secondary WPLD, I can then just hook it up to Icecast, and then I can filter it through Azuracast, so then the public link would just run through the dedicated server on that, instead of just directly from the program. But of course, setting up an Icecast server is going to be it's still going to be quite a challenge to do that. Or I could take the information through Azuracast and set it up through, maybe set the secondary up through there, and then it would work. But I could give it a try myself. Like I said, I get back tomorrow, so I could spend some time, just seeing what I could do with it and whatnot. Or maybe I could try seeing what I could do with it tonight if I have time. Yeah, if I have time, I can try to see if I can set it up in such a way. Oh, we gotta go from Portland. So yeah, that's actually an upgrade that I might consider. Because over the past few days, especially last night, I've been discussing about the plans for the Optiplex when I get it into regular service later this week, on Friday to be exact, or earlier, depending on circumstances. In fact, since I'm going to be off from work on Wednesday, we could actually get it online as early as then. We could do that. We could do that on Wednesday this week if we so choose. So yeah, that is something we could do. Anyway. But yeah, I'll go back into the Optiplex in a little bit. But I'm sure you all would like to know what happened after we left you last night. Well, it did get all the Sunday automated stuff. I got all that stuff as usual. And then later on, when I woke up today, I didn't actually have, there wasn't too much else to get done. Of course I did do my morning routine. And then when I tuned into WBZ for Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, for some reason, they didn't air Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me at all. They just aired like another hour of Weekend Edition, which was pretty odd. Because they don't normally do 2 hours of Weekend Edition. They normally do Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. I don't know, maybe they just didn't have the episode ready yet, or maybe they just wanted to do extensive coverage of last night's events. About last night's events. And I saw Homelessville posted something about that. But after thinking about those opinions further, I later thought that I think I should rather just, see what ends up happening in the near future. I did find a bunch of news articles, news videos of news about that from various news stations. Let's see. I don't think I've seen any videos like that from any of our Chicago affiliates. Let's see, I found WUSA out of Washington, D.C. I found, what else did I find? I think I found one out of Dallas. Well, just to name a few examples. And those articles mentioned that people seem to have mixed reactions over the act. Some are praising it, and then some are fearing for the worst. And I personally understand their opinions. Where did this come from? I don't know how this ended up here, but we'll just toss that and clear all of these notifications. Yeah, I think it was earlier today I found that. But anyway, for the last lunch, one of the last lunches I'll have while I'm here. Alright, well, let's start our second game now. The last lunch one of the last lunches I had today while I was here was one of the out days, as I had promised. So, went out to Chili's for lunch today. So, yeah, we went out to Chili's for lunch. And, of course, I got a burger, and it was good. I had the fried mozzarella as a side. I didn't realize how big they were going to be. So I ordered 6, as opposed to 3. and I definitely got a lot, but I did end up eating half of the 6, 3 out of the 6 when I was there. After I finished eating my main meal, burger and the fries, of course. And for a drink, I actually chose a kind of lemonade that I have never had before. That flavor in particular was watermelon lemonade, which I have never had or even heard of. I actually tried it, and it was good. It was very good. About as good as the strawberry lemonade. But then, of course, I was very full after eating 3 of those mozzarella things and an entire burger and a whole batch of fries. So I took the other 3 came home. I actually had one of them as a little snack earlier prior to dinner, which also, as promised, cooked up some more panini sandwiches. Cooked up some more panini sandwiches, and then what else? Yeah, I was gonna open up the macaroni salad, but never got to that. Yeah, but never got to that. But oh well. So anyway, that was the let's see. So that was lunch, and then after that, nothing else much really happened. So except with following the severe weather event, which I will catch up on after the show. So anyway, yeah, that's what happened. Now let me go back into the discussion about, with the plans with the new PC going into service. So I have a use for it, but right now I just got to find the time to finish up the process and get it into service. Which, as I've said, right now the plan is to put it into service on Friday. And that's where the WeatherScan network will be going. But once I give it a nice RAM upgrade, essentially doubling the memory on the device, on the PC, and I'll give it 16 gigabytes instead of just 8, where I can actually end up running more. So I could run WPLD and the WeatherScan network together, just like on the other PC. But it seems like the other PC's handling it pretty well, as opposed to the Inspira in the other room. So I was thinking another thing. Have that serve as a secondary, and move the WeatherScan there if I so choose. Move on to the next. Yep. Of course, the extreme heat warning goes on for another 24 hours. And I actually did not mind the heat at all when we were going to Chili's. At least the good thing is we had at least had a drink when we were there. But yeah, at least the good thing is, I've had a drink at least. let's grab another set of. That's the only option we have. Yeah, I've been watching the Fort Madison camera. Yeah, I've been watching the Fort Madison camera today too. Plan your next trip to Lake Erie. It's a sure thing. Well, maybe. But yeah, as I just showed, I seem to be interested in the AzureCast. It's actually a completely free radio streaming software with very minimal sign up, I guess, required. And better yet, I could actually link the WPLD web URL into it. So I guess I could say in some way I'm sort of bringing back, vibes from when I operated WPLD in the Xeno format. What I mean by Xeno, I mean that online radio streaming service. You could run your own radio station on there. I actually did that with just a bunch of random non-chiptune songs that I enjoyed, and well, yeah, a whole bunch of them. I had one that just played a bunch of random songs that you might find on the radio. Then I had a secondary one that ran nothing but that ran a whole other genre of music, and a third one that played Christmas music but never got too much use out of. If you remember when we were setting that thing up in 2024, last year, when we were giving WPLD a major upgrade, we of course went through, I showed you the whole process of decommissioning the Xeno services, in favor of this new thing. In some way, we're sort of bringing it back. But, of course, I was thinking maybe we'll just have this, sort of be like a companion. The secondary stream, I have yet to determine, the secondary stream is, still in the works. That's why that UNAMS NWR came up, because I was testing a secondary, a secondary sort of NDEC. And if that plan ends up going forward, I'll probably actually set a secondary NDEC up, and then I'll, try my best, and I'll actually run that secondary NDEC on my own server. I'm gonna take a look through the AzureCast documentation further and see what else I can do with it. Maybe just set up some IceCast streaming information, and then I could link Asmara to it, and then when I start Asmara, it'll start up the AzureCast. So, but the format of one of the secondary Xeno stations I've had is actually an idea of a format that I could use for that secondary service. But the only difference is, just like how WJON has it set up now with the weather scan things, it's only going to be used internally. it will just be used internally by me. But of course, I'll make sure it continues logging stuff from there. So, but like I did with the initial WPLD, I'm gonna see what I can do, to see if I can achieve it on my own. And if I can't get it working, then what I will just instead do well, like I said, I'll see what I can do. So, get it all working and everything. So yeah, that's essentially the plan for. So that's essentially what the plan is for those things. But actually, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the Fort Madison cam for a little bit, because I was actually in the middle of watching a long multi-part scenario. I'm on part 5 right now. Yeah, I'm on part 5 of this probably 8-part series. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish that up while we play here. Alright, that's the end of this game here. Let's go ahead and put that down at the scores. And I see it was gonna make a part 9, but that never happened. I see he was gonna make a part 9, but that was never finished. Quite a shame. Hey, at least I get to see all the other parts of this thing. So like I said, we'll play another half hour of Ticket to Ride since we're at the bottom of the hour already. So we'll play another half hour of this. We'll get KDK's weekly live, and then and I'll play catch up with the other products too, and then we will be done. So. I do not know if my W300 clock is correct. Yeah, it probably is not right at all. Oh, it is correct. Alright. Moving on. just found part 7 of that. Yeah, there's only 8 parts in this. There was supposed to be a 9th part, but that never came to fruition. Anyway, let's go on to the next game now. We got 20 minutes, so we will most likely play 2 more games then. Prevent the thing from crashing. So we're going to play 2 more games of this, and then we'll get KK. I'll play catch up, and then that will be it. So I just finished that. Yeah, and then part 9, and then that's as far as it goes. Because he did make a teaser for that 9th part, but it never came to fruition. Oh, that's right, we can get another way. Alright, well now that I've finished that video, or that whole entire scenario, let me bring Fort Madison back up. There we go. Yeah, we're actually nearly to Montreal, but I don't know if I want to go for El Paso too. Oh wait, we could have. Yeah, we could have, but I've already turned down the offer, so. Also, let me go and plug that into the wall to have a charge. Well, I guess I made a good decision because all of the routes to El Paso have been taken. So I made a great choice because I would have to reroute all the way around, and that would have been a big pain to do. Yeah, that would have been a big pain to try and do. All right. So as I said, that will be the final turn, and we're gonna go and skip this part because pause thing is about to happen. So let's go and connect the iPad to the laptop here. We're going to start playing catch up now. Oh, I didn't finish it all the way. There we go. Okay, let us begin.
thunderstorms will remain over mainly open waters.
But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra.
In North Front has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Rock County in north-central Nebraska, northeastern Loup County in north-central Nebraska, northwestern Garfield County in north-central Nebraska, southwestern Holt County in north-central Nebraska, until 8:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 7:29 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm was located 9 miles southeast of Rose, or 21 miles north of Taylor, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Expected hazards include 60 miles per hour wind gusts and half-dollar-size hail. This is a radar-indicated threat. Impact, hail damage to vehicles is expected. Exciting entries. Locations impacted include Rose, Amelia, Signet, Fox Bayonne, and Carson Lake. This includes Highway 183 between mile markers 138 and 155.
Serves the Pittsburgh Extended Operational Area. This concludes this emergency alert system test.
Your thunderstorm warning for southwestern Rock County in north-central Nebraska, northwestern Loup County in north-central Nebraska, southeastern Brown County in north-central Nebraska, north-central Custer County in central Nebraska, eastern Blaine County in north-central Nebraska, until 8:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 7:34 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm was located 8 miles southeast of Dilling, or 15 miles southwest of Brewster, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Expected hazards include ping-pong ball-sized hail and 60 miles per hour wind gusts. This is a radar-indicated threat. Impact, people and animals outdoors will be injured. Exciting, windows and vehicles. Exciting entries. Locations impacted include Brewster, Dunning, Milburn Diversion Dam State Wildlife Management Area, Fox Bayonne, Liscott, Almeria Meadow State Wildlife Management Area, and Horseshoe Bend Lake. This includes the following highways: Highway 183 between mile markers 136 and 144. Highway 2 between mile markers 238 and 255.
Test for Cassidy and Clay MN, beginning at 9:07 p.m. and ending at 10:07 p.m. This is a required weekly test. This is only a test. Red River Regional Dispatch Center.
For your protection move. The National Weather Service in North Front has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Holt County in north-central Nebraska, southeastern Boyd County in north-central Nebraska, until 8:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 7:44 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm was located 10 miles northeast of O'Neill, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Expected hazards include 60 miles per hour wind gusts and half-dollar-size hail. This is a radar-indicated threat. Impact, hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect wind damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Lynch, Page, Inman, Lenoy, Opportunity, Dorsey, Scottsville, and Redbird State Wildlife Management Area. This includes the following highways: Highway 20 between mile markers 314 and 320. Highway 281 between mile markers 188 and 198. Highway 12 between mile markers 133 and 144. For your protection, move to an interior room. Issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Roosevelt County and central New Mexico, northeastern Chavez County and southeastern New Mexico, until 8 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. At 6:59 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, severe thunderstorms were located along a line from 11 miles southeast of Elida to 10 miles east of Bottomless Lake State Park, moving at 30 miles per hour.
Stations of your area. Equipment quickly run into an emergency is being tested. If this has been an actual emergency,
emergencies such as severe weather. Additional messages for the power alert channel. This station serves the El Paso Midtown County area. This concludes the test of the emergency alert system.
Locations impacted include Atlanta, Dora, Coffee, Kenna, Elkins, Newland, Pep, Lingo, and Rogers. This includes Highway 380 between mile markers 167 and 200. Seek shelter inside a well-built structure and stay away from windows. These storms are capable of producing damaging winds and large hail. Report severe weather to the National Weather Service Office in Albuquerque, New Mexico at 1-888-386-7637. Repeating, a severe waters from Ocklawahnee River to Apalachicola, Florida out to 20 nautical miles. Coastal waters from Swampy River to Keaton Beach out 20 nautical miles. Waters from Swampy River to Apalachicola, Florida from 20 to 60 nautical miles until 10:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 9:06 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, strong thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 27 nautical miles east of Martha 24 barge to near Buckeye Reef to 23 nautical miles east of V Tower, moving west at 20 knots. 4 knots toward greater. Source, radar indicated. Impact, expect wind gusts in excess of 34 knots, suddenly high waves, frequent lightning, and heavy downpours. Make sure all on board are wearing life jackets. Locations impacted include V Tower, Buckeye Reef, K Tower, and Martha 24 barge. Move to safe harbor until hazardous weather passes.
Let this play while we finish things up.
Severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Curry County and east central New Mexico, southeastern Clay County and east central New Mexico, until 6:30 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. At 5:52 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, severe thunderstorms were located along a line from near San Juan to 6 miles northeast of Rensdale, moving east at 15 miles per hour. Hazard, 60 miles per hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Source, radar indicated. Impact, hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect wind damage to locations impacted include Clovis, San Juan, Grady, Broadview, Wheatland, Bellevue, Rensdale, Bard, and Pleasant Hill. This includes Interstate 40 between mile markers 349 and 369. Seek shelter inside a well-built structure and stay away from windows. These storms are capable of producing damaging winds and large hail.
And that's going to be it.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued until 6:30 p.m. Mountain.
Let me verify that it got everything all the way. And it looks like, yes, it did. It got everything all the way through. And there's still a couple more products I need to put in here. As you saw when I was going back on all this stuff, that was pretty odd to see a Cox do a weekly on a Sunday, which does not normally happen. Alright, so I will officially categorize this then as event number 80. And also I would like to check no. Hastings and Cheyenne. Yeah, Cheyenne's pretty much done. And Hastings looks to be a bust. Pretty much. So I guess then it's just Hastings that's doing stuff now and I don't expect too much more after that. Okay, how far are they into the product?
Sighting, entries. Locations and assets include Amelia, Rose.
Alright, I will just get it on Dojo and see V's little thing, which seems to be doing weather scan music now instead of some generic ones. Interesting change. Alright, with that puts us at the catch-up point, and that also puts us at the end of this stream of Ticket to Ride. So, I want to thank you all for taking the time to join us tonight for that, for another edition of Ticket to Ride Live. So, as we get ready to go here tonight, let me explain how tomorrow is going to play out and for the rest of this week in case you all may have missed it. Now, tomorrow is when I'm set to return home. Currently a set time for when my pickup is supposed to arrive here. That set time is currently unknown as of the moment. But what I do know is that it's going to be about 3 hours from wherever they're at to here to come take me home. But in addition, going to be running some errands afterwards, so that could hinder Minecraft even more. So, we usually do so tomorrow would be our Minecraft show, but here are two possible scenarios in which tomorrow could play out. If I get back home before 4 o'clock, which is when Jeopardy normally, no, that'll be after Jeopardy normally comes, because Jeopardy comes on at 3:30. So if I make it home before 4 o'clock, don't care if it's in the middle of Jeopardy or even if it's right before Jeopardy, but anywhere before 4 o'clock, if I make it home in time, then we will be able to do our Minecraft show. But of course, then there comes the catch-up process that goes along with it. But if I do not make it in time, because of how long the errands could take and everything like that, then when I get home, I will just play catch-up, try to prep myself for the math test retake tomorrow. No, on Tuesday, that is. Yeah. Prepare for some math thing on Tuesday, and we will just cancel our Minecraft show altogether. That's another possible scenario. So those are two possible scenarios in how tomorrow could play out. But again, we will see what happens. But what I will assure you is that as soon as I get back home, I will get the Weather Scan Network and the main WPLD back on the air. I will get them both back up, and of course I'll go through, go through the running tallies of all the weeklies, who ran tests so far and who hasn't, leading up to the current moment, and then we'll just leave them all going for the remainder of the week. They'll carry over to Saturday if they end up testing on Monday, while the station was off the air while we were transitioning. But again, the fate of the Minecraft show decides, the decision of Minecraft will depend on how long it takes me to get home, including the errands, as far as I have been told. But again, we will see how tomorrow plays out. But what I will tell you is that Tuesday we will be back to doing our Roblox show, or at least we should be back to doing our Roblox show on Tuesday this week. We should be back to doing that. And then Wednesday, since I have off from my part-time job this week, that means we will be able to do the weekly tests from home. Isn't that going to be exciting? Then I won't have to deal with a lot of catch-up, which is pretty nice. So, I was thinking Wednesday potentially what we could do. Did it seriously just go down? Okay, looks like WGO1 just went down midway through the alert. Thankfully, the main station was still going, so it finished, and I'm going to get it on my station now. So, Wednesday, then, that could be a possible day we could get the Dell Optiplex into regular service. Thursday actually could be another possibility as well. So the second half of this week are going to be possible days when we can get the Dell Optiplex into regular service. But what I was thinking right now with it is I'll probably just stick with the 8 gigs of RAM that are currently inside of it. I'll see how it handles WPLD, and if it does not handle it, which I'm pretty sure it won't, but we'll see if the newer generation processor will. If it handles it, great. If not, then what I will do instead is I'll just order a 16 gigabyte RAM kit and double the memory in there from 8 to 16 gigabytes. So that way Windows 11 can do all its telemetry, bloat, and AI crap, while also allowing memory for WPLD to run and execute, as well as any other things I might want to do on it. Yeah, as well as all other things that I might want to do with it. So, that's the plan at the current moment. That's enough. But anyway, Thursday we'll be back here at baseball. Friday will be our fun night show. We should be back to that. And then Saturday we'll do our usual stuff. And what I mean by usual stuff are what I mean by our usual stuff, the games that we normally do. What else? The games, the Street View video, the county requests, all that stuff. And of course, when I do come back tomorrow, well, on Tuesday that is, we'll air all of the new we'll air some of the new stuff that could not have been aired, while we were here. So, well, that couldn't be aired on Thursday. So, again, we will air as much as we can. So, that's our goal. So that's for that, and then Sunday we'll be back to normal. Well, with Sunday, that is. Monday, I'll be off from my part-time job once again, because my parents have something going on that they cannot arrange my time to go to work. So there will not be Downers Grove episodes for another week and a half, including tomorrow, this Wednesday, and next Monday. The following Wednesday is when Downers Grove will return. And it is there that we will be back to our normal schedule for the summer for the time being. So Tuesday will be Roblox, Wednesday will be the weeklies from work, of course. And of course, we'll go for our morning stream and things like that. Thursday will be back here at baseball. Friday will be our fun night show, of course. Saturday, well, you basically know the routine. And the summer plan, I've yet to change out the Street View schedule to match the dates of the final dates of the trip. I'll take a look at those and get those worked out if I haven't done so already. I think I did as soon as I was told about the dates. So I will take a look at those again and then confirm. So yeah, that is the plan. So yeah, that's the plan. I'll spend all Monday night going through the math stuff that I probably need to. So that's probably what I'll do on Monday. So, because yeah, I want to enjoy my last night here before heading home in peace. That's just what I want. And of
course, I got to enjoy that piece with some of you. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and end it. So thank you for joining us here. So yeah, with that, we thank you for joining us here, and we will see you again hopefully tomorrow at home for Minecraft if I get back in time. If not, then I will see you all again on Tuesday when Plainfield TV returns to normal operations, and also when we do our Roblox show. So thank you for joining us tonight. Hope you have a good rest of your Sunday night, and hope you have a good Monday tomorrow if I don't see you. And we hope to see you on Tuesday or Monday at best.